Hello, welcome. This is Victor. I'm so excited to create this unboxing video for you of a watch that I have been searching for over 20 years. Yes, you heard me right. I have been looking for this particular watch for 20 years. So before I open this box, I just want to tell you this story because I'm just really excited about it. I really hope that you can hear the excitement in my voice. So more than 20 years ago, I was shown a watch. So this watch is very simple. It doesn't have any fancy gadgets. It just tells time. I was really like, I was just like very thrilled to see that watch. I don't know why. I just really like the simplicity of that watch. So I asked the person, the owner, like, so what is this watch? Like, what is the model? What is the brand? I don't really remember what he told me, and I think he didn't actually know exactly the answer for that. So either I just did not remember it right or correctly, or he didn't actually give me too much information. So what I remember was is a army watch, military watch. It is a the look is very simple. It's kind of like greenish, dark green in color on the body, and it has a silver ring. The material is not, the case is not made of metal. It's kind of like a plasticky thing, and that's all I remember. So I from then on I kept looking for this watch. I looked for any kind of like army watches that I could find. I thought it was a Swiss Army watch, so I look up. At that time there was like Yahoo search, all kinds of like search engine on the internet that basically said Swiss Army watch. I basically found all the Swiss Army watch at that time, and even in the process I got a watch that is made by Swiss Army, which is a gassy special edition, which is like really like a lot of neon yellow in it. I just like it, so I bought it, but I still couldn't find the watch that I was looking for. So fast forward, like every now and then I just thought of this watch and then I looked it up. I still couldn't find it. Like I just looked for army watch in general, like simple army watch, minimal army watch. I couldn't find any of those. So recently I kind of gave up. So I brought up a Google browser window. I search a search engine. I've just type in military watch. I don't even remember I put on the word military. I just say plastic watch with a silver ring or metallic ring. And then, it showed me a bunch of like Swatch watches, because Swatch is made of plastic mostly, but it doesn't have that metallic silver ring, right? And then and I keep scrolling down, and I found a watch that has the look that I have been looking for. So I clicked into that link, and then it was made by a company called MWC. It's a American company. They produce like utility military equipment, including watches. And then it has the watch, but it says that the watch is made with metal casing. So it was not not exactly what I was looking for. But it gave me a very important clue, because it says that in the description, it says the watch is made based on another watch, and the other watch is made by a company called Stocker and Yale. So with that information, I type up Stocker and Yale, and then the first thing I found was actually a bunch of like equipment that doesn't look like a watch at all. So, and I keep looking into this Stocker and Yale watch, kind of stuff, and then I came across with a code called Stocker and Yale watch 184. So what happens was that, so I dig a little bit deeper. I did a lot of research on this watch, and then I found out more about this watch. It turns out that this watch was a U.S. military watch that was made in around the 1980s to 1990s for the U.S. military. And there is actually a code engraved at the back of the watch. So I actually wrote down the code. I think it's MIL-W-46374C. So what it means is basically a specification that is actually provided by the U.S. Army at that time in the 1980s, that covers like the watch has to be accurate, of course. It has to be anti-magnetic. It has to have a certain level of water resistance. Of course, it has to be legible, right? And along with other military requirements. So that's actually kind of the standard or specification. So at that time, there were different, different versions of this this specification from C and then to D and onwards, and then manufacturers are making those watches for the U.S. military. So then it starts from version A to B to C and D, and up to the point that when version C was announced, then Stocker and Yale was the only company that made those watches for the U.S. military. So that's kind of the history of that. And then later on, the specification got updated, and then there was the version D, which becomes MIL-W-46374D. And then at that point in time, the kind of watches that actually got expanded into 5 different types. So type 1 has a minimal requirement of 15 joules, and also has a minimal requirement of the accuracy has to be accurate within 30 seconds per day. The Type 2 lowers this requirement a little bit. So it keeps using the C specs. It requires only 7 joules, and then it allows up to 60 seconds, which is a minute per day, error per day. But both of these watches were actually made as a mechanical watch. Doesn't require any battery. There are other types that I mentioned. There are 3 types, 3, 4, 5, that actually uses battery and is running on a quartz module or movement. But the funny thing is, as I said, it's a watch that was kind of made for the military in 1980s, and they no longer exist anymore. The company does not make those watches anymore. I look up the company, the company doesn't really show up anything on the internet searches as well. So I think the company has gone, but I could be wrong. And the interesting thing about these kind of watches, and as I later on learned, people nickname this called Sandy, because it's Stocker, so S, and A-N-D, Yale, Y. So they call this kind of watch a Sandy watch. So I try to find a Sandy watch because now I know that this is the watch that I've been looking for 20 years. So I look it up. Of course, since the watch was no longer being produced, I have to look at the vintage market or like auction or whatnot. So I've been speaking for over 5 minutes. I'm very excited about it. But I finally found someone on the internet from eBay who sold this watch. So it's shipped. It arrives in my hands in this box. So now I just peel off all a little bit of like those address information. You don't need to see that. I also cut open an opening so that I can just open it without struggling with tape, but I haven't seen this watch. And this is the first time, guys. The first time we see this watch, I see this watch in real. So I'm like, my hands is trembling because it's shaking, because I'm just really excited about it. So let's take a look. I know roughly the specification of this watch, like the size, like about 36 millimeters wide, nylon from the photo of the auction site or from eBay. I know roughly how it looks like, but I have not seen that in real. This is the first time I see this watch after over 20 years of search, my friends. So let's do this. So open this, and I still need to cut a little bit of tape. There we go. And inside there is a wrapped thing, so I'm gonna put this box away. All right, and bubble wrap. Thank you for seller for protecting it well. And let's just cut it open a little bit more. All right. There we go. And we're gonna tear it open. So again, this watch is now a vintage watch because it's not manufactured or produced anymore. So let's take a look. It's in my bag. And there's nothing else, no user manual and whatnot, and that's the watch itself. So very tiny, it's very light because, like I said, the watch I'm looking for is made with plastic, so this is the case. So take a look, open it. I usually like just wipe it a little bit, so I have some wipes on the side. Just like, but it's very nice. Like the quality is very nice. There's no like a lot of scratches, sign of like use. Of course it's being used, but it's very nice and shiny and everything. So just wipe a little bit, and the band is also quite pristine, as you can see, so it's quite nice. So I think I wiped enough of those. The face and the side, everything's good. So let's put it aside. All right, so there we are. After more than 20 years of search, the Sandy watch with the plastic casing, dark green, I hope it shows on the screen, and also the silver ring or the metallic ring. Oh man, I am so excited about this. I'm just anyway, so let's take a look. So it's a very simple watch, doesn't tell the date, but let's just turn. This is a military watch, and it's very simple. It uses just a little pin to stabilize or keep the band. You can't really take this out. You can slide it around. I think it's actually really tight. But I think because there's an open here, I hope you can see that, you can actually use a tool to push out the pin if you really want to, take it out. But there's actually really nothing for you to force to open. There's a little, like this little thing here. I'm not sure what it is. I've seen some videos saying that there's also a hole in the center. When you press it, it can kind of pop open the pin for minimal surface. But I'm not intending to do that. I'm not a jewelry jeweler. I'm not, a watchmaker, so I wouldn't know. But look at this. Another interesting about this watch is that if I put it closer, you might see the word H3. Yeah. So a little bit of a radioactive logo here. So what does that mean? So back in those days, they want the watch to be able to be visible at night, overnight. So the way to do that is they use this tritium radioactive substance and then mix it with phosphor. And then what it does is they will excite the, some molecules or whatnot in the phosphor and mixture, and then lights will come out. So they don't need to be under a certain light for sunlight or sometimes to charge the light, and that it will just self-grow. Of course, this watch has been made in like 1980s or something. Half-life of tritium is 12.5 years. So right now it's more than 2 half-lives. Anyway, so I don't expect it to be growing in the dark, but I specifically look for a watch that actually is in great condition, which is the case here, and it can tell time. From what I learned, the watch is a mechanical movement, so it's not automatic. You can't just move it, and then there's no weight of a disc or rotator to wind the watch. It is hand wound. And from the specification, if it is fully wound, then it can last for 36 hours of runtime. I don't expect it to run 36 hours, but it should at least last for a day. So let's see if I can feel the rounding. Do you hear that? So I think I'm done to that. So you can see that now the hand is moving. It's alive! It's moving now. It's from what I read, it is a hacking movement. So let's see if that's the case. So I need to take it out, the down. So you see the hand is still moving. So it's a hacking mechanism. And you can adjust time, no problem. So I'm just gonna start right here and then let the watch keep moving. And there we are, my friends. This is the watch. This is the watch that I have been looking for over 20 years. And let's just, put that on my wrist, and let me just savor this moment a little bit. Oh, look at that! Again, very simple watch. I think I can do it with this a little bit further away. So there we are. Very simple, but very legible. You can tell time right away. Let me see if I can see. I think there's still a little bit of luminescence, like store in the hand. So I'm not counting on it, but it's great. So it's very light. Now I also have a scale like before. So let's take a look at the total weight of this watch. So I'm not sure whether this is the original band, but I assume it is. And let's see how much it weighs. So let's put on the weight. Is 26 grams. So to the dot, 26 grams. Just take my word for it. And if you remember, I made a video earlier on about a watch which is the marathon watch. I'm just going to turn it off. I actually happen to have it on the side, so I'm going to compare the size and the look for that for you. So this is the marathon watch that I have. I really like it. This is the Sandy, Stalker, and Yale 184A. And you can see the resemblance because actually Marathon is the company that later on also manufacture military watch for the U.S. Army as well. So you see the ring and also the plastic casing and extremely high legibility. Right, but this is slightly larger in terms of sizing, so it's more than 34 for sure, and I like this a lot. So anyway, I'm just really excited about this watch. Some people say that I actually also look up the band width. So the band is they say that there's some saying 16, some saying 18, but I actually found a band. I bought a band which says it is 18 millimeters. So let's just do a slight comparison here. So you can see that they are basically identical, right? So I would say that this is actually an 18 millimeter band. So this one, as you can see, the color is slightly darker, and I kind of like the color, so I think it will look great when I replace it. But still, like the original band is also quite nice, and I also enjoy that. I might put this on, keep this band for a while, and see how it goes. But anyway, again, I'm just really excited to receive this watch. Thank you for whoever is the eBay seller for selling this watch, letting me have it. It has so much history about it, and it has a personal meaning to me because I've been looking for this watch for over 20 years. And here it is. It is in my hand. It was around my wrist, and I will keep using it. It is moving. It's functional. Hopefully, it keeps good time as well, and I'll be wearing it for quite some time. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I'm so glad I can share this moment with you, and I hope I can share with you more cool stuff in the future. Once again, thank you, and see you next time.